podcast studios. This is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
Hey now.
Hello, friends.
Welcome to After 9. Today is going to be one of those episodes that we warned you about, guys. Today is going to be one of those episodes where somebody scheduled a meeting that we have to attend for during our podcast recording hours.
And go ahead, guys. Glance at it now. You can see the time. You can see how long this episode is. When you clicked on it, you probably went, what the fuck? What happened to you guys? Yeah, we have, you know what? We are a part of 4 different radio stations. The Scott and Kat Show is expanding. We're happy to be a part of it. But with that, of course, comes a lot of responsibility that we owe all of those radio stations who function in different ways, etc. So multiple meetings, especially around ratings time, which is now.
Yeah.
So we have to take part in all of those, of course.
Is Dave going to fire whoever scheduled this meeting, or did he say?
Yeah, I know. Hey, even he's, I mean, Dave's the busiest of them all, too. So I know we're all in it together.
Well, we're going to try and do a 40-minute pod in 20 minutes today. We're going to try and go as long as we can before we get that reminder pop up on our phones that you can now join the meeting.
You better do it.
Yeah. Okay, I want to play one of the best things I heard come out of yesterday, and I went through a lot of audio and video yesterday. I was watching clips of Chrystia Freeland talking about mistakes they made calculating the carbon tax. Did you hear about that, by the way? You know how the parliamentary budget officer says we're worse off because of the carbon tax, and the Liberals say that's not true. You're ahead because of the rebates. Apparently, there's a document that the government had done that proves that one way or the other, whether we're ahead or we're behind, but they're refusing to release the document. The parliamentary budget officer, Yves Giroux, whose name I love saying, will not. He's been basically gagged. He's seen it, but he's not allowed to comment on it because the government said this hasn't been released publicly, so don't talk about it. So now the PBO can't talk about actual budgetary issues. It's kind of a mess. I watched a bit of that. I watched a lot of D-Day coverage yesterday, and I'm excited about today. The way they've digitally enhanced the video from World War II.
It's intense, isn't it?
It's really good. They made it fit into an HD screen.
Unbelievable.
I love it.
Yeah.
And there was a whole bunch of other stuff from the Prime Minister and the Premier and many more. But what I would like to play for you is from Washington. Yesterday, 50 Cent was in Washington, and he is advocating for more support for Black-owned booze brands. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
Black-owned booze brands. Now, I don't know what kind of support they need, because nearest I can tell, most booze brands are doing pretty well, especially 50's himself.
Yes. Well, I mean, and if you follow 50, though, you know he's in a current legal battle over his booze that he came up with, and people essentially taking money off. I don't want to say off the top. I guess that's alleged. Whatever. There's a lot of alleged bullshit happening where he's not getting the money he's owed, and he's realizing this is probably the same for a lot of Black business owners, particularly in that space. Is the real basics of what you need to know behind the scenes.
Well, it was either CNN or MSNBC. One of their reporters caught up with 50 outside the White House and asked a great question. It's a little hard to hear, so I'm going to translate afterwards. Listen to this.
Have you made a decision?
I haven't.
What do you think is the significance?
Thank you.
Just the last question. What do you see as the significance of African American men in this election? For both of you.
Basically, what she just asked was, what do you see among African American men in the upcoming election? Here's the answer.
I see them identifying with Trump.
Why do you say that?
Because they got RICO charges. And
Because they got what? What did he say?
Because they've got RICO charges as well.
Oh.
50 Cent is saying that the black men in America are going to vote for Trump because they also have a record.
Oh, my gosh. 50 Cent is so fun to follow. If you're not following him on social, follow him on Instagram. He's great.
I was never a huge 50 fan. I was never into it until just recently. And the business acumen that this guy's got.
Oh, he's incredible. He's such an incredible business guy.
I am very loyal to certain brands of cognac, but I would buy his cognac just to support him because I love what he's doing. And when that Diddy documentary drops, do you think that's just the beginning? Do you think more people will come out once the documentary's out? Because there's other people that know shit about Diddy and Jay-Z.
I've said it before. This story is still being written. The story's not done yet. We're not finished. We're not even close, I think. I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg here. So, yes, I wouldn't be surprised if they want to rush a documentary out, great. But it's not going to have all the info we need. There might be a second part or a third part out later on this year, then next year. You know what I mean? There's too much shit. There's too much.
Way too much. The Ontario government, Kat, is scrapping the program for sampling wastewater to monitor the level of COVID in the population. Do you remember when they were like...
God, they're still doing that?
That's what I thought.
What?
They're still fucking doing that?
I remember when they did it, like, years ago. I didn't know they were still doing it.
Yeah. The program is run by a dozen universities and research sites through funding from the Ministry of the Environment. Why would the Ministry of the Environment study wastewater and COVID?
It's all gross to me.
A provincial official says the move will avoid duplication with a federal program that plans to expand its sampling to additional sites in Ontario. The program measures how much of a virus that causes COVID-19 is circulating in different regions. In other words, you've got COVID. You go and have a pee.
Yeah.
Pee goes into the system. They monitor the poo juice that's floating underneath us. And from there, they can say, we got like 10 parts per trillion of COVID. And that means that we got to shut down Hamilton because there's too much fucking COVID. They were actually trying to lock people down based on wastewater.
Isn't it kind of invasive? Like when you think about it, like I know you're not coming to my house and ducking your hand in my toilets. Like we all know that's not how you're getting it, but it's kind of gross that like what you're flushing down there, people are monitoring. Like think about that for a second. If people went through your garbage, you'd be fucking outraged.
Yep.
But people can go through your poop and you can't say a fucking thing about it because what are you supposed to do? Well, take care of your own poo? No one wants to do that.
It's true.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like just think about it. And people have those jobs to check the poo. Like that's their fucking job.
Let's get everybody on
weird.
septic. Fuck this. You stay out of my poo. It's none of your business.
We're all taking shits and holes from now in the backyard. Fuck it.
Animals are onto something, right? Just poo anywhere and bury it.
Kick it up, sand. Fuck.
It's crazy that they were actually
It's fucked
doing
up.
that. I didn't know they were still
I didn't
paying
know
someone
either.
to test
I
the
thought
wastewater.
I thought it was weird even when we did have COVID. I thought, can't we just make an estimate? Why do we need to test all this shit?
What was wrong with all the swabs when we went to the hospital and got the
know,
thing up our
It's
nose?
too much.
Oh my God. Someday I hope that eventually, when all is said and done and all the assholes that are in power are gone, somebody adds up how much total we spent on COVID. How many years have we been testing the wastewater?
God. Yeah.
How much money did that cost us?
Yeah.
Speaking of money, SiriusXM Canada ordered to pay $3.5 million as a penalty because of their subscription plan pricing. The Competition Bureau investigated SiriusXM and found that outside of Quebec, they advertised their satellite radio and streaming subscription plans at a price that's not possible to get the subscription for because of a mandatory fee that's added to the bill. Sirius has now agreed to no longer use, quote, drip pricing or promote subscription plans at prices that are not attainable.
Good. That shouldn't be a thing ever. These hidden fees that they put out in a lot of different industries. So I'm not just trying to out one, but like it's getting ridiculous. So I'm glad that they're being penalized.
What happened to the law? I thought it was a law that we had all-in pricing. Other than the tax, they have to show you the full price. And with Sirius, these guys are just scoundrels, apparently. They'll tell you, oh, yeah, you can get your monthly subscription for, I don't know, $16.99 a month. But the fact that you have to pay some $4 a month fee on top of that means it's impossible to get it for that. It's going to be at least $20 a month.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they're getting fined. And you're right. I do find, remember it was bad in the travel industry for a while? Now it's better. They're very clear on with taxes, including taxes. They have to put that so that they don't get in trouble. But it should be like that for everybody. All in, what am I paying? Be fucking clear.
Transparency would be really, really nice. And who are the MPs that were selling information to spies? I'd like to know that too, speaking of transparency, but that's for another day. Kat, the Insurance Bureau has released the list of the costliest cities in Ontario for auto theft claims. Toronto.
Fuck. Toronto.
You know, every day, I look around in beautiful Burlington, Ontario and think, thank God I don't live in the city of Toronto because it's turning into a shithole. It's expensive as fuck. And now we get this. Toronto has seen a staggering 561% increase in insurance costs over the last 5 years.
That's insane.
561%. Now, when it comes to how much auto theft claims cost last year, the Insurance Bureau says over the last 5 years, it's that increase in Toronto. Then it also shows the overall amount About $371 million is how much it's costing in Toronto because of stolen cars. $371 million. But that's not all. Brampton, $93 million. Mississauga, $90 million. Vaughan, $62 million. Markham, $43 million. And then a few other cities in the top 10, Ottawa, Oakville, Richmond Hill, Hamilton, and London. I really, really, really think we should circle back on this car thing. I think we brushed it off too quickly. You know, we had this huge problem and everybody was wondering, what the hell? What's going on? Why can't they stop this? And then the government came out and said, okay, fine. Everybody just shut up. Shut up and stop complaining because it's hurting our poll numbers. So we're going to buy the CBSA some scanners. We don't know when they're going to be here or how they work, or I don't even know if we've actually ordered them yet, but they said we're going to buy them.
Yeah.
They said they're going to hire a whole bunch more people to inspect the port of Montreal, scan those containers. That's good. That's what should be done. But what are we going to do about these massive insurance hikes? Because I don't think that now that the insurance companies are hiking prices, they're ever going to lower them back down because car thefts are going to slow down.
No, I don't think so either. It seems I don't even know what the issue is. I don't know what the right thing to do is, because a lot of people are doing the right things. It's not like speeding. You know, you speed a lot, good, your insurance should go up. You are a bad driver in multiple ways, good, your insurance should go up. In this case, there's a lot of people doing the right things, locking their cars, keeping them safe, keeping keys out of sight, and they're still getting their car stolen. So in this case, it's not a matter of you're bad at that. Sure, in some cases maybe people were careless, but that's not the norm. Now it's just like you could be as careful as possible. Security cameras on site, all the things that you think you're doing right, and boom, people still try to steal your car or do steal your car. So I don't think that the insurance payer is at fault. So do you do it across the board? Is that the right way to do it? And you're absolutely right. They bring it up. They're not going to bring it back down again. So these cities that kind of got fucked over, I don't think it's ever going to get better for them. I
really, really think that we should blow up the insurance industry and just start over again because it's gotten so bad. In Canada, we have very, very specific laws that prohibit discrimination based on gender, based on age, based on things like that. Yet it's perfectly legal for an insurance company to say, male, jack up the fees. 16 years old, yikes, really jack up the fees. It's not right that they can do that. Everybody should be on the, kind of like the points on your driver's license. Everybody should start off 5-star until you prove otherwise. And if you are somebody who gets a lot of tickets or gets into a lot of accidents or you have a high-end car that got stolen, okay, then we start deducting some points and your rates go up.
Yeah.
But for somebody who's never made a claim or never really had a serious issue on the roads, I don't understand why they would be paying the same or more as someone else one street over that happens to have a different postal code.
Right.
The whole thing is messed up.
Right.
And we let it get to this point. I just think that it's going to take a visionary to completely reform it and get us back on track. Okay, moving on. We're going quick here. The interest rate announcement came down yesterday. 0.25 percentage point is the decrease. Now, that's what they expected it would be. Most of the economists figured it would be that. And now they're still saying, yeah, probably another cut or two before the end of the year. Probably will be down 1 full point by the end of the year. The question is the damage already done? The Bank of Canada has said many, many times it's a lagging indicator. Back then they were raising interest rates. They said it would take months to see the effect of each one. Yeah. And even though they didn't wait months in between increases, they just kept jacking them up because the plan always called for a 5% interest rate. Same in Europe, same in America. Everybody's paying the same because there's a lot of people out there that would like to take money out of the middle class's pocket. And that's what they've done. So do you follow Ron Butler on X or on any of the platforms?
No.
Ron Butler, the mortgage guy. Maybe you've seen his commercials.
Yeah, I think I've heard of him.
He seems like a fairly smart guy. I've actually never met him, but I do follow his tweets. And here's what he says about yesterday's interest rate cut. New home construction has collapsed in Ontario. Retail sales down across the country. Loan delinquency is way up. Simply stated, Canada is on its way to an economic hell in a handbasket. A year from now, we'll all be asking why the hell they didn't make the first interest rate cut in March or April. And I guess just a couple months can make that big a difference. They waited too long. Yesterday in the announcement, that son of a bitch, Tiff Macklem, was talking about a soft landing. Oh, looks like we've managed to stick handle this perfectly. So we've avoided a recession. I think we're in a recession. I think if you don't think we're in a recession, you've got enough money that you don't need to care. But I think for the average middle-class person, we're definitely in a recession. Business owners would probably be the first ones to tell you that. Yesterday, we had to participate in something that our parent company, Chorus Entertainment, was doing. It was the Upfronts.
Yeah.
This is where they come out for the global side of the business, global television and Stack TV, and we have Pluto TV as well. Pluto's a free streaming service. You can watch TV on there all day.
Yeah,
it's real easy to put it on and leave it on all day long.
It's great. Chorus also owns like the W Network, Slice, Food Network, we're
History,
HGTV,
HG.
lots and lots and lots. Yeah.
Basically, if the Bomblers are on it or they're cooking, we own it.
McGillivray? Yes,
Yeah,
that's
it's
us.
one of ours. So anyway, they do the upfronts just like they do in America, and they roll it all out. But I was watching it yesterday, and one of the things that was really interesting to me was they were talking about how fragmented everything is right now. Did you pick up on that when you were watching it? They said, listen, we got a lot of people. Some of them diehard loyal to watching the news every night.
Yeah.
And then we got some that watch TV but don't really watch the news. We got some that are streaming only. Many households have gone with just their Crave or their Netflix or their Stack TV or whatever the case may be. Then we've got people that are listening to podcasts, people that are listening to audiobooks, people that listen to traditional FM radio, and people that don't. So basically what they did was they united the whole company into one big access everything in one stop. So in other words, if you're a business owner and you think, I've got this great product and I want to market it, but I want to be on TV, but I want to do some digital, and it's real cheap to advertise on Facebook, and maybe I'll get a follower or two out of it, that sort of shit. It's hard to do that.
Yeah.
So they were explaining yesterday that when you look at the overall package here, with us, you get a little bit of digital, you get a little bit of television, you get some radio, you get podcasts, you get audiobooks, you get all of it with all of our properties together. It's kind of neat to see where the advertising business is going. I mean, if I were a business owner right now trying to figure out how to market a new restaurant, it's tempting because, for me, I know that radio is still one of the most effective ways to advertise. But there's some people who don't listen to the radio, so they assume nobody does, and they might be inclined to go the cheap route. Oh, with Instagram, I can set a budget and only spend $20 a day. Well, I mean, you get what you pay for. I mean, you reach 10 times more than that amount of people with one commercial on the radio, but the average person doesn't understand that. I'm glad they did that and put it all together. It's a neat way to put it to people like, hey, you can get digital and podcasts and everything all in one spot from one sales rep.
Yeah, and that's really the way that it's going. A lot of different areas are changing right now, and for advertising, it is too. It's nice that you can dabble in a little bit of everything. It used to be you had to put all your money in one thing. It's true. Not the case anymore.
Well, it also used to be the case that I'm going to do some television advertising, but that's all I can afford to do. I think the average person would be shocked if they found out how inexpensive it is to advertise a business on TV. It's really not that bad. And I mean, hey, you want to have it during the season premiere of Survivor or Big Brother? You can do that. It's surprisingly inexpensive. Yeah. But unless you talk to somebody about it, how would you know, right?
Yeah, and based on your demographic, you can have it play at the time that makes sense for your demographic. Yeah, it's great. And the pros who are behind the scenes doing that, they know exactly where it should go.
Down to the final 60 seconds here before this meeting that should have never been scheduled this early. But I'm not bitter about it.
It's fine.
Will the CBSA go work to rule, or will there be a deal done? What do you think? Best guess.
Oh, my gosh. I hope there's a deal done.
Me too.
I think there might be. I think there might be because this is going to impact a lot of people in a lot of negative ways.
TTC, are they going to solve it, or is there going to be a massive transit strike in Toronto tomorrow?
Oh, my gosh, I hope they solve it. I'm going to say solve. I'm going to say both solve. I'm going to be optimistic, Kat, today.
Okay. I think that they're going to throw whatever money they have to avoid both of these because these are two very unsavory strikes.
Absolutely.
You've got people waiting 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to cross back into Canada. They're going to lose their absolute shit.
Yep.
Transit tomorrow, there's 1.5 million more people in Toronto now than there were the last time there was a transit strike. Do you know how many tens of thousands of people tomorrow are either going to have to walk or take a bike?
If this doesn't go well, yeah.
Because the cabs and Ubers are all going to be full, right? I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They got to solve it, but if they don't, make some fucking popcorn and make plans to not go to Toronto tomorrow.
We'll be talking about it tomorrow for sure.
Have a great one, everybody. Sorry for the short episode. We'll have a full one for you tomorrow.
Bye.
The first ever manned flight of the Boeing Starliner spacecraft launch after multiple delays with a pair of NASA astronauts on board. Boeing seems to have trouble getting to Cincinnati. Should they be headed into space? I don't know.
In an effort to boost the birth rate, Tokyo is launching the first government-run dating app. Ooh. It's nice. Apparently in Japan they have government benefits and government with benefits. Yeah.
Down in South America, Peruvian President Dina Boluarte reportedly dropped her presidential duties for 2 weeks to get cosmetic surgery. This has happened before in world leaders. Woodrow Wilson famously went AWOL to get his Brazilian butt lift.
Soccer star Lionel Messi recently announced a new partnership with the makers of White Claw to launch a new sports drink. Seems like a waste of money, though, since most people already associate White Claw with Messi.